So we've got doors around our premises. We should know our fire doors by some route. Obviously either risk assessment, building drawings, previous fire brigade drawings, depends on what your history of your building is, how old it is. But also the simplest doors simply marked with a sticker, and that can be misleading. Some people have gone around buildings and simply stuck on stickers to any door which appears to be self-closing. Because one of the features of a fire door, that just not all doors have, is that fire doors would normally be self-closing. There are exceptions, but most of them are, and that can be a red herring in you looking at doors. If they're self-closing, they're not all necessarily fire doors. So a blue sticker should be reliable, but it isn't always an ultimate guide to being a fire door in your building. One set of doors that is rarely a fire door are doors going into fresh air. So some doors which are self-closing, just to keep drafts out from outside, or could either be secure doors, or some could be doors outside, which are available during occupied hours. And those doors are very rarely fire doors. There are special, as in all cases, there are special exceptions, but in most cases they're not actual fire doors. They lead to fresh air. There's no fire separation between those two areas. Fire doors are a very big family of materials. We've got, typically in Britain, we've got a big bias towards using timber fire doors. And again, it doesn't sound an ideal material to use. It's simply historical. If we sat down here with all the materials we've got available in our modern age, I don't think the first thing that would come to mind was, well, let's make fire doors out of timber. Timber used to make fires, used to, to fuel, a wood burning stove. So it's not ideal, but obviously we use timber in a clever way. We use it in certain fixtures, and we do other engineering techniques to make a fire door able to survive a fire test, even though it's combustible material. Much better material for fire doors, and that's been used for a long time industrially in high-risk buildings, infrastructure, are steel fire doors, box sections and sheets of steel and other clever materials like Durasteel. And these, of course, are not combustible and are much more robust in fire, much more robust mechanically, impact and strength. So where possible, we maybe should be thinking about more use of steel doors, because they do offer this dual property of not being combustible and robustness that I think we probably need in more buildings, more positions than we currently are prepared to pay for. I think people typically use timber. It's convenient, it's cheap, it's smart. So perhaps quite a few positions in certain buildings could benefit from a jump to a steel fire door, and that's for you to look at for your next budgets. We also have a third fairly common member that's had a very bad reputation in recent years with Grenfell, and that's the composite fire door. I've got quite a clever combination of materials, and the outer bit we see, cosmetic facing of the door, is obviously some sort of GRP, nice wipe down material that's weatherproof, and that means, unlike our plain timber door, it doesn't require extensive repainting very often, if not at all, and is much more weatherproof. So where flats and other buildings want doors which are getting some weather impact, and they want to be fire doors as well, we've got the option there of using a composite door. And these are perfectly able to be very good fire doors. Unfortunately, they've been associated with failure. It was a very small number of manufacturers, a small range of composite fire doors that gave failures. There are perfectly good quality composite doors available. And I think no doors without windows were a problem. Typically doors with complex window inset there. That's another level of care needed to make a door work. Those are a big family of fire doors. Timber, big dominating one, probably 80% of doors, maybe timber, and then the other two, the other 20% share between steel and composite, depending on what your building type is. Some people, industrial type buildings also have a lot of steel doors.